All right, let's jump right in and tackle one of the most fundamental questions in our world. It's a problem that affects every single one of us, every single day, and every society on the planet. We're talking about the basic economic problem.
I mean, it's a question we've all asked ourselves at some point, right? Why can't I have that amazing new gadget and go on that dream vacation? Or on a bigger scale, why can't a country have the absolute best healthcare, the top-tier schools, and the most powerful military all at the same time? Well, the answer really boils down to one single powerful concept.
And that concept is scarcity. It's this simple, unshakable truth that our resources, whether it's time, money, or the raw materials from our planet, are limited. They're finite. But our wants, our desires for things, those are pretty much infinite. And that mismatch, that fundamental tension, is the starting line for all of economics. Every single choice we make is, at its core, a consequence of scarcity. So because of this single idea of scarcity, it turns out that every society, from the smallest tribe to the biggest superpower, has to wrestle with the same four central economic questions. And how they choose to answer them, well, that defines their entire economic system.
So, what are they? First up, what are we even going to produce? Should we focus our resources on consumer goods or on building up our military? More hospitals or more shopping malls? Second, how do we produce it? Are we going to use a ton of people, what economists call labor-intensive methods, or are we going to lean on machines and technology, which is capital-intensive? Third, and this is a big one, for whom do we produce? Who actually gets to enjoy all the stuff we make? Is it distributed based on wealth, or does everyone get an equal slice? And finally, number 4, how do we plan for the future? How much of our stuff do we consume right now versus how much do we save and invest so we can grow and have more tomorrow?
Now, historically, two major blueprints have popped up to try and answer these questions: capitalism and socialism. And really, the biggest, most fundamental difference between them boils down to just one thing: who owns the means of production? You know, the factories, the farms, the machines. Is it private individuals looking to make a profit? Or is it the entire community, represented by the state?
So let's kick things off with the capitalist blueprint. You might also hear this called the free market or a laissez-faire economy. The name of the game here is private ownership and individual ambition. Okay, so here's the deal with capitalism. The really crucial part is that you, as an individual, have the right to own your own stuff and to start your own business. What pushes people to innovate and create new things? It's the profit motive. And who's in charge? Who decides what gets made? Well, in this system, the consumer is king. Every dollar you spend is like a vote, signaling to producers what they should make more of. And this whole system is fueled by competition. And in its purest form, with as little government meddling as possible. And this is where it gets really interesting, because the pros and cons, they're really just two sides of the exact same coin. That powerful profit motive, it fosters incredible innovation and gives us a huge variety of things to buy. But it can also lead to massive inequality and, in some cases, the exploitation of workers. That personal freedom that drives efficiency can also make the whole system unstable, leading to those big economic booms and busts. So how does capitalism actually answer those four big questions? Well, there's no big committee meeting. Instead, it's all about something called the price mechanism. The constant dance between what people are willing to pay for something and what it costs to make it acts like an invisible hand, guiding everything. If tons of people suddenly want electric cars, the price goes up, profits for car makers go up, and guess what? More companies start making electric cars. It's all supposed to happen automatically.
All right, let's completely flip the script and look at the other side of the spectrum, the socialist blueprint. This is often called a command economy, and as you'll see, it offers a very, very different set of answers. So under socialism, things look very different. The big idea here is that the means of production are owned collectively by the state. Instead of the market deciding things, you have a central planning authority that makes all the big decisions: what gets produced, how much of it, and who it goes to. The goal isn't profit, it's the supposed welfare of the whole community. Prices aren't set by supply and demand, the state administers them. And because the state is the only one running the show, there's no real competition. And just like with capitalism, we see a trade-off, a real give and take. The goal of sharing wealth more equally and providing a strong social safety net is a huge plus. And in theory, central planning can get rid of unemployment and create stability. But the cost? Well, the cost is often a loss of individual freedom, a serious lack of incentive to work harder or innovate when there's no profit, and the massive inefficiency that can come from a slow-moving central bureaucracy. So just to wrap our heads around this, The socialist answer to those core economic questions is super direct and deliberate. A central authority, a group of planners, not the impersonal forces of the market, makes the choices. They're guided by a specific plan for what they believe is best for society as a whole. So we've got these two very different, almost opposite blueprints. Capitalism on one side, socialism on the other. But what does the real world actually look like? Well, that brings us to the all-important reality check, the mixed economy. And this right here is such a crucial point to understand. Those pure textbook versions of capitalism and socialism, they're really just theoretical models. In practice, every single country on Earth, from the United States to China to Sweden, has a mixed economy. They're all blending elements from both systems. And this is what it looks like in the modern world. Every single economy is this mix of a private sector, which is driven by market forces, and a public sector, which is run by the government. The real debate today isn't about whether to have a mix, but just how big each slice of that donut should be. So what's a mixed economy really trying to do? Well, it's trying to get the best of both worlds, right? The goal is to harness the incredible innovation and efficiency that you get from the free market, but also use the government to step in, provide social safety nets, regulate key industries, and try to make sure the outcomes are a bit more fair and equitable. But as you can imagine, it's a really tricky balancing act. On one hand, a mixed economy can give you that economic freedom plus the security of a safety net. But on the other, it can end up suffering from the worst of both systems. You could get the inefficiency of government bureaucracy and the inequality of the free market. Finding that perfect balance is the constant, ongoing challenge for every single nation. And all of this leaves us with a huge, crucial question for our time. As we stare down these massive global challenges like artificial intelligence and climate change, the debate over that economic mix has never been more important. What is the right balance between market freedom and government action to build the future that we all want to live in? It's a massive question, and it's one we are all helping to answer every single day.